words I have to say may well be simple, but they're true. Till you give your love, there's nothing more that we can do. Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? You say it's very hard to leave behind the life we knew. There's no other way, and now it's really up to you. Love is the key we must turn, and truth is the flame we must burn. Freedom, the lesson we must learn. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Love is the opening door. Love is what we came here for. No one could offer you more. Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean? Have your eyes really seen? Do you know what I mean?
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Yay.
In the beginning was the One presence of the undivided and unmanifest pure spirit of light, life, and love. In its generosity, it shared itself, its consciousness, and its love in the visible form of creation. We acknowledge this presence within us and as us. The creative energy of the divine feminine and masculine expressing in all our giftedness and creativity. We acknowledge this in our companion Mother Earth and in all sentient beings. This universal presence in everything we call the Christ. We light this candle as a visible reminder of the Christ presence expressing in, as, and through us in this present moment now. It is the truth, Let us own it. And good morning.
Good morning.
I think that Diane and Ray are going to bless us with an opening song.
Please join us for I Start My Day with Love. 1, 2, 3.
Please rise.
I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, love. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Love, love, love. Start my day with peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. I start my day with peace. When I start my day with peace, I feel that sweet release of peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Peace, peace, peace. Start my day with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. I start my day with joy. When I start my day with joy, everything I do is infused with joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Joy, joy, joy. Can't do them all. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. I feel that sweet release. I start my day with love. I start my day with peace. I start my day with joy. I feel that sweet release. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ray and Diane. We're so happy to have you with us today. And just a heads up to all of you who love Ray and Diane, they will be back next Sunday with Quiet Fire. So yay, 2 weeks in a row.
Halloween.
We are a spiritual community, and we're dedicated to co-creating joyful lives through positive thoughts, words, and actions. And if you might be here for the first time, if you would just raise your hand so we can acknowledge you and welcome you. Well, I acknowledge and welcome all of you for being here today. And we know that no matter who you are, and no matter where you might be on your spiritual path, you are always welcome here. So thank you for joining us, and for those of you at home, thank you for being with us, and we do hope to see you in person at some time soon. I wanted to announce that Janae is not here today. She is on a well-deserved vacation. And yes, indeed. And Deborah Davis is filling in for her, so she does ask that you all be very gentle with her this week. So I know you're going to do a great job while Janae is away. So thank you so much for stepping in. Also, I want to remind you that next Sunday is Halloween, and we are invited to wear our costumes if we would like. And following the service, which Frank will talk more about the service in a bit, we're going to have trunk or treat out in the parking lot. And this means that those of you who want to participate, park your cars on the west side of the parking lot, and from 12 to 2, we're going to have, we've invited the neighborhood, the apartment building down the street, to come and partake, and we'll stand by our cars with umbrellas or without, and decorate the trunk of your car, lay down some orange or black paper and put your bag of goodies in there, and then we'll share our goodies with our neighbors and with each other. And if we don't get out of here for lunch, guess what we get to have for lunch? So don't anybody bring toothpaste and toothbrushes. Come on. It's a day to celebrate. So I believe that concludes the announcements. So I'm going to ask that you just turn quietly in your seat and turn to your immediate neighbors to greet them good morning, and you can greet more after the service. So please turn and wish a happy good day.
Good morning.
Thank you. So now as we get centered, we're going to prepare now to say our 5 unity principles, which you'll find on the little cards that we have out in the foyer. If you don't have these memorized, these are available for you, and it's a good thing to remember during the week. So please say with me together, God is good and present in all things. The holiness of God is my own true nature. I am creating my experiences by how I think. My thinking is guided by my daily affirmative prayers and affirmative actions. I follow and am sustained by these values in every way, every day, and so it is. And now, as we prepare for our time of reflection and meditation, please hold the words of this meditation hymn quietly in your heart.
Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Blessed always, blessed always, for the arms of God surround us. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen. Let our joy be so triumphant that we rest in God and say Amen.
Paul writes to the church in Corinth in 2 Corinthians. He says, don't you know you are temples of God? And so with those words and this tradition that has happened for thousands of years, we rest for a moment in the sense that we are indeed temples of God, that very temple of the divine is is at the core of us. And so just relax your shoulders for a moment and be a little more comfortable in your seat, if you would, with feet flat on the floor. Take a cleansing breath. Just sinking into this moment and just letting the morning energy and all the maybe energy it took to get out the door and get here this morning, and maybe whatever to-do list you had for the day, that's good. It's lots of good stuff to do later, but let's put that aside and just be totally present to this time, to this place, to this moment. And we sink deeper and we feel ourselves walking away in our mind's eye from the busyness, and we walk away from the noise, and we walk away from the distractions that may be out there, and we feel ourselves walking through a quiet area and hear nature sounds and maybe a creek, and we're on a path and we're walking away from the noise, and up ahead we notice this temple. What does it look like? This is the temple of your very being. This is that inner sanctum, this place of peace in your own life. I'm always curious, what is that temple of your being? What does it look like for you? All across the world and all the traditions, we try to design temples to reflect what a temple is and what it might be and what it might hold. But all of these reflections are just reflections of the truth of who we are, that very temple of ourselves. And so we enter the temple of our being, and there's a warm glow and a warm light, and we feel at home, truly deeply at home. This is the point of connection to the divine within us. Indeed, it's our point of power. It's our point of source. It's our point of love. It's our point of connection, and it's always here. We are always connected to the divine essence, to spirit, but we just need times now and again to recall and be there and feel deeply that connection. And we're there now, and we feel it. We connect there. And we look around and we notice there's like a treasure chest. And we open that treasure chest in our temple. And what's inside that chest? What is indeed inside that treasure that's inside each of us? And we look, and it's filled, and it's glittery, and it's full of possibility. It's full of ideas waiting to be expressed and enjoyed and appreciated and danced and sung and built and developed and created and shared with others in ways that are expansive of friendship and expansive of intimate relationships, in community and growth and possibility. Oh, this is the treasure of spirit that brings into the life the realm of all possibilities, and especially what's possible for us, being called here specifically to be who we are, to be alive with our gifts and our talents. And there they are in this treasure chest. And what's in there for us today? What unique treasure or gift or possibility that represents the true essence of who we are and come here to express? What do we want to pull out today? And there's just almost an infinite amount of possibilities. But we're attracted to something that's mine to do. That's my art. That's my development. That's my friendship. That's my play. That's my next being and doing and becoming. And we know this treasure chest of possibilities is always there for us. And whenever we want, we come back and we can sink in and we can explore. And what do we want to bring out of the temple to express today? And so we gather up something that's there, that's precious, that's wonderful, that's us. We say, I'll bring this out into the world today. This is mine to do. This is the way I'm showing up. This is my gift. This is the way Spirit will live through me. And we gather that treasure up, and we've got this treasure chest. It's always there to go back to. But we have unique gifts we're bringing forward today. And so with a grateful heart and filled with possibility, we leave our temple now, we don't really leave it. It's always there, but we turn our attention to the world of form, to the world of being, to the world of being alive as humans in this full experience of being human on Mother Earth. And we walk away and we turn our attention back to the light and we walk back up the path. And we're ready to be here and be here now and share what we found. We can always go back. It's always there. But we're here now. And we come back to the room and we come back to this place and we come back ready to share our treasures. And as we come back, we do it with a prayer, with a mantra that our brother Jesus, our way shower, our truth teller, has taught us to help us and support us. Just one of the many beautiful prayers, but we call this one the Lord's Prayer. And we say this mantra together. Our Father, who art in the heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. And give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
We're going to share a song by Keb Mo with the best message. 1, 2, 3, 4. You say you wanna get somewhere. What you gonna do? Watch the world go by from a corner of the room. I know it's none of my business, but there's something I need to say. If you could see you the way I see you, you'd start flying on your own. Step aside and let your light shine. Let your love show. It's a short ride down a long road. When the rains come and the winds blow, let your light shine wherever you go. This world is ready and waiting for you to break on through. It's time to recognize, realize you're the only one like you. Step on up, step into your greatness. Don't be afraid, there's a place for you to rise up to. No one else can do what you do. Get out of the way and let your light shine. Let your love flow. It's a short ride down a long road. When the rains come and the winds blow, let your light shine wherever you go. Let your light shine, let your love show. It's a short ride down a long road. When the rains come and the winds blow, let your light shine wherever you go. Let your light shine, let your love show. It's a short ride down a long road. When the rains come and the winds blow, let your light shine wherever you go. Let your light shine. Thank you.
So I know what divine gifts come from the treasure chest of your life. This beautiful music, yeah, amongst many things. So today's talk, I'm actually excited for this. Yeah, we have actually a game. The talk is going to be a little bit of a game. Are you ready for that? Yeah. Okay, but first let me set the stage. There's a Vietnamese Buddhist monk. His name's Thich Nhat Hanh. How many of you are? Oh gosh, everybody knows Thich Nhat Hanh. And and I have lots of stories, but cutting to the chase, one of the favorite things I love that he spoke about was this sense of interbeing. And it's really, it's almost mystical, but it's also very practical. And he talks about how everything you see in life and all the energy between us inter-is. Isn't that a great statement? It all just inter-is. It just isn't is. It inter-is. Because the world is made up in a sense of interbeing. And he gives some examples. So I was just like making one up, and you can see how it works. So, just pick a pumpkin, right? And you think, that's a pumpkin. It is a pumpkin, right? Well, it's also all the sunshine that went into the pumpkin, and it's the rain that fed the ground, and it's the nutrients that were in the ground. And it was and then it was the farmer who drove the tractor to till the soil to grow the pumpkins. Oh, and by the way, that tractor it was made in Detroit. And if you go to Detroit, there's a guy who worked on the tires, and he had a wife, and she was a school teacher who taught kids. And those kids then learned to write, and one of those kids, she became an engineer. And she went to work, and she created a new system for printing. And so her printing system went to make books, and it made a novel, and that's the one you read this morning. So that book you read this morning is related to this pumpkin. Right? And you can keep going and going and going. What did all those other kids in Detroit and the school teacher who was the wife of the guy who made the tire for the tractor, made the pumpkin do? Is this a wonderful sense? So if you really soft focus on any of us or anything, what you realize, we are. There's no way we're not on certain levels connected. And so there's this concept I love that Charles Fillmore and the Fillmores came up with. And there's this sense of this divine substance. And all through ministry school, so, but what is divine substance? I'm just always trying to get a handle on it. If you look in the Fillmore's work, they talk about divine substance all the time. And to me, I can just sort of give you my understanding of it. It's this sense of things can be energy and things can materialize. And then they can materialize and go back into energy. And then they can be energy and they go back to the material back into energy. This is very scientific, of course. We know this in science. That's how it works. You look at somebody, you say there's a thing, but if you have the right set of tools, you realize it's mostly just energy and empty space. This is our truth, And the Fillmores were living at a time of new science, and so they brought this into a spiritual understanding. And I think this stuff of substance gets to the heart also of interbeing. And there's, Fillmore talks about the Trinity. It's why, we lit 3 candles this morning for the Christ candle. In Western Christendom, there's always this sense of the Trinity. And there's lots of ways of describing the Trinity of the divine. And one of the classical ones is Father, Son, Spirit, and that's beautiful. But I want to talk about one that Unity talks about quite a bit. It goes mind, idea, expression. Are you familiar with this concept? Yeah, there are lots of nodding, yeah. So mind, idea, expression. And in truth, the divine, God, the way that God acts in the world is divine mind that has divine ideas that divinely express. Except God never created things. So, wait, all these things are here. But what God did is divine mind created divine ideas that expressed into the creation, or the reality as ideas. So in some ways you could say God never created the world, God only ideated the world. Ideas, that's it. God just put out just an infinite number of possibilities to be grabbed, to be put into sacred substance, and then be manifested. For why? For delight, for joy, for manifestation, for good, for truth, for beauty. Because this is what God does. This is what the divine is. Right? So who are we? We are the image and likeness of God. And what does image? It doesn't mean we look like God. What does God look like? It means that we have the essence of who we are is these beings that can have a mind. And I'm doing my head. It's not even a head. It's a mind. It's a whole reality of who we are as a human being that has ideas that then express, except we can express them into tires and trucks and tractors and pumpkins and buildings and churches and communities and organizations and relationships and love and families. And I mean, we create out of this treasure chest of infinite number of possibilities. We get to do that. I mean, when the divine ideated the universe, that what's there is life and consciousness. It just took these divine ideas and spun out galaxies and universes, and then Earth, and then over billions of years turned out microorganisms, and then over hundreds of millions of years of cool little dinosaurs and all sorts of creatures. And then what showed up is us. This divine idea evolved and evolved and evolved and emerged. And finally, we showed up. And what we do different than all those other animals is we work in the same level of Trinity that the divine does, because we're the image and likeness of God. And so we have mind, idea, and we express. And look at all the stuff we express. Look at us. We're expressing. We're expressing music. We're expressing art. We're expressing love. We're expressing community. We're expressing, material things that are material, and then they're not, because they go back and forth between energy and stuff. And it's all in the divine substance that we get to play with. And we go to our heart and we find out what we want to express. And so the spiritual path, if you will, the whole spiritual journey, if I kind of boil it down and sort of, and tomorrow I'll tell you it's something different. But today, what I'm going to say is this, is that as a human being with mind, idea, and expression, can I align my mind with the mind of God? Can I harmonize myself with the self of the divine? Can my ideas that I'm expressing be aligned with divine ideas? And if you want to say, well, how, if I have all my ideas aligned with the divine ideas, what am I called? I'm called the Christ. That's what the Christ is, when we align our ideas with the divine ideas. Then we're expressing Christ energy. So that's what we do, mind, idea, and express. And I'm just curious, did you ever hear God ideated the universe before? I mean, yeah, it's fun, right? Never created in the material world. So what that means is we just sit here on this treasure chest of infinite number of possibilities. But of course, I am who I am and you are, and we each can draw out what's more aligned with what's mine to do and what I'm showing up and what's mine in this life to do. And then it's not only what I do, but then what we do together, because remember, we're inter-is. We are inter-are. So when I express and then you express, and then we start bouncing our expressions off each other, it multiplies, not just doesn't just double or triple, it goes a millionfold. Because my ideas play off of your ideas, and my expression encourages your expression, and you express something else, and it goes around. This is exciting stuff. And this is how it works. But let's just not talk about it. Let's play and look at it. Okay, so here's the game. We're gonna show. So what you got to do? Okay, I'm gonna throw some. Grab the end. Yeah, do you know what's coming? Oh, one of you guys grab it. Somebody, everyone's gonna get a chance. Oh, I'm gonna throw it over here. Okay, grab the end. And what we're gonna do is, and nobody trip or get too caught up. Can we start? Okay. What you need to do is you want to express your interbeing with other people. Okay, Vic. Yeah. All right. Someone in the back, Deborah. This was Deborah's idea, so we already inter-ised on this one. But this is how it works. Would you like to start one? Okay, one more. Who else? Really? Okay, so hold the end, and what you need to do is now, This is your divine idea, and you want to share it. So share it with someone who shares it with someone who shares it with someone who shares it with someone. And let's just see, we'll just take a minute, and be sure to look around and be sure you share everything with at least one other person. Make sure nobody's left without ideas being shared, and go. Just kind of, you can toss it, you can hand it. Why don't you stand up? Everybody stand up and move your divine ideas around and express them. Yeah. And let's just hold the end and pass it to someone else. Yep, just pass it anywhere you want to go. Yeah, we don't want anybody in the end to trip, though. So yeah, yeah, you can throw them. By the way, throwing is okay. John, no, wait. You have no. Hold on. You have to hold. It's a bit of a. So there's a red one over here. You go get. Just him. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Let's see some yarn balls spinning. I don't think you're going to hurt anybody. Go ahead and toss them to somebody else. Yeah.
Oops, I forgot to follow the rules.
It's totally fine. Okay, another few seconds. See how far you can get. Keep them going. Okay, a few more seconds. Let's see how far you can get. Okay, so now everybody look forward for a second. Just wherever you are is fine. So everybody hold up wherever you're at with yarn. Yeah. So this is this is what happens when you go in your treasure chest. You find the divine idea that is appropriate to you, and then you express it in the world. And you think, well, I just told one person, but look, hold up your hands really high. This is divine ideas in our community that are moving around. And when we put out an idea into the world, you see how it has legs. And two important things to this. If we decide to throw out ideas based on fear and selfishness, look what happens. But if you go in from your very connection to the divine source and you throw out ideas of empathy and compassion and understanding and love and zeal and joy and transformation, look what happens to the world. Because once you release the idea, it gets legs, it moves. This is what happens. So everybody sit down for a minute, but hold on, because we're going to raise these up at the peace song again, okay? So yeah, don't let them go yet. So not surprising, maybe, to you, is that Jesus, who was a master teacher, kind of caught wind of this. And I want to tell you kind of the way to wrap up a quick story about the gospel. And it's from, it's in Luke, it's in Matthew, and it's in the Gospel of Thomas. But I'm going to tell you the story as I understand it from the Gospel of Luke, and it's chapter 19. And it's a parable, and it goes like this. Once there was a master who was going to go away and claim a kingdom for himself. So he called all the servants to come forward. And to each of them, he gave 100 silver coins. Now, by the way, that's a lot for people at the time. That meant like overwhelming. And then the master went away, and he got that kingdom. And now, full of being the king, he called the servants forward. And he says to the first one, I gave you 100 silver coins. What did you do with it? And the person says, raise your hands up. How many with your strings? Who's got, yeah. He says, yep, I put them out and I got back tenfold. Do you see? You put out the yarn and how much did you get back? I got back tenfold. I mean, he gave him 100 silver coins and he got 1,000 back. It's overwhelming. He said, you good and faithful servant. He turns to his attendants and he says, let that person rule over 10 cities. Then he found another person. He said, what did you do? I gave you 100 silver coins. What did you do? And the person looks back and he goes, you can see the strings. He goes, I made 5 more. I made 5 times as much. You got 500 silver coins back. And he goes, well done. I put you in charge of 5 cities. And then he came to one person. John, will you stand up for a second? Let me see your string. Yeah. He came to the one person and he said, what did you do with yours? And he picked the right guy, right? And he said, well, I knew you were a difficult man, that you reaped where you didn't sow, and you withdrew where you never deposited. So I was frightened. Here's your 100 talents back. And he tries to get back the string. And he says to him, this is fun. I get to do this now. You worthless servant. He volunteered for this. He said, you worthless servant. You knew that I reaped where I didn't sow, and you knew where I harvested, where I never tilled, So you should have all the more invested and done something. And he says to his attendants, take away what he even has and give it to someone who has 10. For those who have shall have more, and those who have not, they get taken what little they have. Now, pause. What do you know of the divine? What do you know of the Christ essence? What do you know of the Spirit of God? Do you think that ending means I'm going to come up and take all of this away from him and just toss him out? See, I think the interpretation is this. He tells the attendants, go, take from him what he has, but hold on to that. And put it out and give it to him at 10. And then send it out, and now he's connected. And what was it that he says, that Jesus said, was the note that had this person not doing it? He said, the man says to him, I was afraid. I was afraid. And what is the opposite of being afraid? It could be courageous, but what it is I am willing to love. I am willing to share. I am willing to express. I am willing to take my divine ideas and my divine attributes and put them out into creation so they can express and expand, and so that people can be transformed and I can be transformed from it. And what will happen now that I've taken it, and when I take it from, what did it mean? It means maybe I heard his fear. Maybe I approach him with empathy. Maybe I try to understand what's going on that has you frightened and has you stuck. And we've been talking about this. I do not believe that Jesus was saying, go take this guy and take away and leave him alone. It's like, take what he has, help him get it going so that he can be involved in the community as well as everyone else. Because what little he has, it has to go forward into the world. Okay, thanks. Thank you, John. Good sport. And actually, this is the exact opposite of how he really is in life. And so we see this energy. So I'll just kind of conclude, and I'm going to say a few concluding remarks, but maybe just this image allows you to see the conclusion of this story at all. And Jesus says, this sense of going into this realm of your ideas, your divine ideas that then express. And if you want to find 12 good ideas, think of the 12 powers. There's 12 good ideas to start with. And then mix and match them and get empathy and joy. And not only that, but these things express in ideas. But remember, it's energy and it's form, both, because that's the nature of being human. So how does it show up in the world? In churches and buildings and material things as well, and then back into energy and back into stuff. So I'll leave you with this challenge for the week. And thank you, Deborah, for the idea. I think it worked really well. And yes, Deborah, thank you. This was the divine idea that inspired this. And I think when you first told me, well, throw yarn around, I went, I don't know. and then I went, no, actually, that might work. that was good. So this is what happens, You give an idea and someone goes, I don't know. Well, yeah, that, but maybe this. Oh, that's a good idea. Well, how about that? We'll ask more people. When you make music, I'm going to try this. Well, I'll try that. Well, why don't we do this? And next thing you know, it grows tenfold, right? It really expands. So with this week, just, here's the challenge for the week. What are our divine ideas that we want to express, but like, maybe I won't do that, or maybe I won't test the water, or maybe let's go forward. We are each called, because it's the nature of being mind idea of expression, the image and likeness of God, we are each called to express the ideas that we get from Spirit, and the precursor to this is with prayer, with meditation, with journaling, with spiritual discussion, with going to classes, with coming to service, with being aligned with spiritual music and a spiritual presence. Allow that energy to dwell up in you, to kick out the ideas that really want to be expressed. Every single one of us has something to offer the world, and the world wants to hear it. The world wants to know it. The world needs this interchange because it blesses us all. Okay. And the final note is we're going to keep these for the peace song. And in the end, please don't trip. Let's just put them all on the ground and step over these. Nobody gets tangled up. Okay? Peace, friends.
I'd like to invite the ushers to perhaps come up around the outer edges. And we've reached that part in our service where we get to practice the abundance that we are. We're always grateful for your generosity. And those of you at home, you're welcome to go to unitybellingham.org and hit the donate button to share your gifts. But if those of you who are here and at home, take your gift to your heart and affirm quietly to yourself, I give freely and joyfully, for God is my source, and I have abundance in all areas of my life. And please join me in saying our offertory blessing together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is.
I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be gonna be bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of my bad feelings have disappeared. There is the rainbow I've been praying for. Gonna be bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead and nothing but blue sky. Look straight ahead and nothing but blue skies. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone is the dark cloud that had me blind. Gonna be a bright sunshiny day. Gonna be a bright sunshiny day. Thank you.
Let's go that way. Thank you. Wow. So we bless these gifts with gratitude, and we offer them forward for the ministries of Unity Spiritual Center of Bellingham, and for Unity worldwide, and indeed for the work of Spirit, Holy Spirit, encouraging people to share from their abundance of talents and gifts and ideas across the whole world. And gratitude. Amen. So a quick announcement about next week. So as you know, there's two things happening, and we mentioned the trunk or treat, so thanks. But the service next week, it falls on Halloween, and we're going to celebrate what we're calling the Dia de los Muertos. And many of you know this. It comes from a celebration from Mexico, but it has Christian overlays, and it has deeper roots than that from indigenous peoples. And well, we can have the experience we have, but it tends to be sort of a uplifting day where we want to fondly recall our ancestors, and knowing that it's a time to celebrate where the veil is thin, and we're praying for each other, and that, we as personalities may be here for a time and leave, but as individuals in the mind of God, we are eternal. So we can pray for each other even across eternity. And so what we're going to do is the celebration is going to be a little different. The order will be a little different. We'll have a quiet fire. But instead of like a meditation and a talk, what we're going to do as a community is we're going to build a piece of art. And it's going to be an altar to celebrate our ancestors. And we have some volunteers, I think Deborah and Marcia and Maylin, perhaps, will talk if that works for you. And they will be here earlier in the week to set up an altar that we're going to set up right back here. And already it's starting to have a fascinating form. And what we'd ask all of you to do is, if you'd like, you're welcome to bring a picture of some ancestor or someone in your life. One time I did it, I brought John Muir. Wasn't even a family member, but just somebody who you think in life has so inspired you, probably a family member. And by the way, if you have a nice picture and it's framed, what we want to ask is that if you want to take it home, after service, it's fine. But hopefully we can leave it up for the week. And then anybody who wants to throughout the week, and best time's probably the morning, and just wants to come in here and sit and spend some time with the altar and with the piece of art, you're welcome to come throughout the week. And then the following Sunday after service, feel free to take your stuff and take it home. Does that make sense? Okay, so Dia de los Muertos. And for those of you watching at home, if you'd like to take a picture or send it, PDF it, and send it to, I think at office at unitybellingham.org, then we'll get it, we'll print it out here, and we'll go ahead and put it on the altar for you, so send it ahead. Some people say, I don't want to bring pictures. You can bring pumpkins, ceramics, bells, toys, symbols, acorns, maple leaves. You can really bring anything you want that you think would express a sense of connection for the season, for this time, for loved ones, for your family history, and we'll put it up here. And as you bring it up, we'll have people helping you organize it. And at the end, it's fun, because I have no idea what it's going to look like at the end. We'll see. We're going to make it together. We're going to express this divine vision as a community, and we'll see what we come up with. But I already know it's going to be great. And so we'll call this like a contemplative community service. This is a great time to invite friends or neighbors or family members or anyone else that you think might enjoy coming and having a time of building this altar and having a time of silence. So it's a great opportunity to invite guests. Also, Rosemarie's already worked this room right here for little kids. We got our toys in there. We got some books. If you want to bring kids, grandkids, neighbor kids, whoever, for trunk or treat, and they want to come early, if you want to bring them early and have them in the service, we'll have people in here who can hang and do some projects with kids. And also we'll have the room upstairs for older kids. If some older kids come, and we'll have some activities for them too. So great time to bring visitors, guests, kids. This will be exciting. And then if anyone wants to help, it's just sort of the trunk or treats right now, it's an idea in the mind of us. It's a divine idea we're expressing. I don't know if we've expressed all the details of that idea yet. So we could, anybody who wants to help express that divine idea of trunk or treat and supporting the kids, please let us know. We probably could use some people just to help orchestrate the parking and, the flow of traffic and stuff. So, call the office, Deborah or me. We'll take those calls and we'll figure it out. But it's gonna be fun. Okay? Any questions, give us a call. Otherwise, we're good. Thank you.
Well, please join us for We Are Walking in the Light of God. 1, 2, 3, 4. We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, woo, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, woo, we are walking in the light of God. We are praying 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 in the light of God. We are praying, woo, we are praying in the light of God. We are praying, woo, we are praying in the light of God. We are singing 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 in the light of God. We are singing, woo, we are singing in the light of God. We are singing, woo, we are singing in the light of God. We are walking in the light of God. Last one. We are walking in the light of God. 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 We are walking, woo, we are walking in the light of God. We are walking, woo, we are walking in the light of God. Woo!
Thank you.
Thank you for singing.
Thank you so much. During the talk and the song, I was trying to think of a comment to say about the service today. And the one thing that came to mind is, Reverend Frank, you sure do know how to spin a yarn. Weave Us Together is another good one, yes, indeed. And as we come to the conclusion of our service, we are going to say together our prayer for protection, and we do include everyone, everywhere. Together, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. And we are looking forward to a very blessed week ahead. I just want to caution you, when you leave, let's not be tripping in the light of God. Or in the light of yarn. I'm not sure which. So please join me in saying together or singing together our peace song. And then at the end, just raise your chords, okay? All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment, peace eternally.
Have a great week.
Start my day with love.